That the ANC came here quite prepared. We knew that our councillors and those smaller parties that we're talking to were not going to disappoint. The city of Johannesburg is now back to the residents of this beautiful city.
Let's just clarify that. Did Geoff win? Did he emerge victorious as mayor? Or is this for the first round?
Well, as we speak now, you must start referring to Geoff as the mayor of the city of Johannesburg. If you live here, you now have a mayor called Geoff Makhubo. The ANC has emerged victorious out of this process.
Mr. Pulemabe, how did this victory come about? Is this an indication that the ANC reached a deal with the IFP so that you don't take the Zululand district municipality and Abaqulusi and Jozini from the Inkatha Freedom Party?
Well, you'll have to understand that even in 2016, the ANC emerged a victor here in Johannesburg. We always commanded the majority. We enjoyed the support of the residents of Johannesburg. It was just a delayed victory. Of course, now in 2019, our people have spoken. Their conscience has now come alive. We are now in charge of the city. It is not about trying to manage politics in another province or doing issues in another municipality. Conditions that were obtaining in the city were such that parties needed to agree on a compact and one that would be able to move the welfare and the well-being of the people of the city further forward.
Did you reach an agreement with the IFP over rural municipalities in KwaZulu-Natal, Mr. Mabe?
Well, as to the nature of our relationship with the IFP and how we are agreeing to work together, that remains a matter between the two parties.
I just have to ask, some people have said that Geoff is actually tainted with allegations of corruption. I mean, what now? He's now your mayor.
Well, Geoff has been cleared by the Integrity Commission. He's the chairperson of the region of Johannesburg. He is now going to be the mayor of this city. He's going to take us to the 2021 elections where the ANC is going to emerge victorious again. What is important with this victory today is that it now takes the city back to the hands of the people.
Are you expecting a legal challenge over this voting process here today?
While how can something that was so transparent, a process that you yourselves in the Fourth Estate had witnessed, names of councillors had been called there, they were ticked as they were voting out there. So there was no Marobani business here. Everything was straightforward. The ANC emerged victorious. Democracy came alive.
First priorities for the ANC in the city of Johannesburg?
The first priority of the ANC in the city of Johannesburg is to make sure that all of the things that the ANC had written in its manifesto when it went to the 2016 elections are realized. Making sure that we place and put first the plight of our people in this city. You would remember that under Pakstau, when he was the mayor here, there was a lot that was happening. We had created jobs. Some of those jobs were shunned by the Democratic Alliance coalition. We've got to now go back and assure our people that the city is back now in their hands.
In terms of the position of the Speaker, when can we expect a motion of no confidence?
Well, you are still here. It's not going to be televised. This revolution is not going to be televised. So it is going to be shown here. There is an item on the agenda where another motion has got to be tabled as it relates to the Speaker. I can tell you, when we leave here, we'll be having a proper government of the city.
Mr. Mabe, when you look at the key appointments that have been made by the Democratic Alliance-led coalition, like you're at City Power, you pick it up, is the ANC going to be looking at reversing some of the appointments of the former Mayor Herman Mashaba and the Democratic Alliance coalition with the Economic Freedom Fighters as their voting partners?
Well, I'm a national spokesperson of the African National Congress. I do not sit in the caucus of the ANC here in the city of Johannesburg. Comrade Geoff, together with his own executive here, will have to make a determination on what are the priorities. I can tell you now that in their own priorities, it has always been a program of the ANC to put people first.
So you trust a person who is riddled with the scandal of 30 million rands in the city of Johannesburg?
Well, he has been cleared. He has not been found guilty by any tribunal or court of law. I think we ourselves in the media should also go easy in terms of accusing comrades of the ANC, even when they are making themselves available to clarify such accusations. We still force them and make sure that they have got their own life. It must be all hands on deck. Most of you here stay in Johannesburg. You want clean water. You want to make sure that there is provision of proper human settlement. You want to make sure that your communities are secured. You also want to make sure that there are jobs provided here in the city. You also have got a responsibility as shareholders of this city to help us build a city that all of our people can be proud of.
Cleared by who, Mr. Mark? Is he cleared by the Integrity Commission of the
When
ANC?
Comrade Geoff is now the mayor, Comrade Samkelo, you need to at least appreciate that and start respecting him as such. Give him the respect that you accorded to the mayor of the Democratic Alliance. In the same way that all of you respected Mashaba when he was a mayor here, it is expected that you will give Geoff the same kind of support so that he is able to discharge his responsibility as the #1 citizen of the city without fear or favor. It is important that we understand that leaders of the ANC, when they are put in positions of responsibility, they serve the people selflessly. They put people first. That's what the ANC is all about.
Thank you, Abi. Good. SG and Geoff is coming soon.
That was Pulemabe, the spokesperson of the African National Congress at a national level, speaking about the appointment of Geoff Makhubo. They are also saying that the Secretary General of the ANC, Sekgobela Ace Magashule, will be coming as the custodian of the Luthuli House, the ANC headquarters, and their membership and their day-to-day dealings with other political formations. He was leading the charge in negotiations for this particular Johannesburg Council and mayorship for the African National Congress. He met with the IFP leadership in KwaZulu-Natal in a bilateral meeting between the Gauteng province, the KwaZulu-Natal province of the ANC, the province of the IFP, the national of the IFP led by Velonkosini Hlabisa, their president, and Nomvula Mokonyane and other senior leaders of the African National Congress in their negotiations of how 3 rural KwaZulu-Natal municipalities, Zululand District Municipality, Abaqulusi Local Municipality, and Jozini Local Municipality basically decided the fate of the economic hub of the country, the city of gold, Gauteng, Johannesburg. Mandisa Mashiko of the EFF is also coming to give feedback with the Deputy President of the EFF, Floyd Nyeko Shivambu. Their candidate, Musa Novella, got 30 votes in council. So we are going to be getting a briefing from the EFF leadership led by Floyd Nyeko Shivambu. And
now look, we note the election of Geoff Makhubo as the mayor of Johannesburg, but that doesn't take away the concerns that were raised about him, that when he was the mayoral committee member responsible for finance, he was also doing business with the city through his company. He was working with the regiment, the Gupta company, and he has got that relationship with them, but also was involved in a lot of other wrong things. So we are clear as the EFF, our conscience is clear that we did not form part of establishing a corrupt government here in Johannesburg, because what has just been established here, it looks like, with participation of the Democratic Alliance, it's a corrupt government of looters who are going to loot this city. They had been punished by voters in 2016, but now they've come back through backdoor, because what they've done is an arrangement which seems to be happening without the mandate of the political parties that voted for them, because clearly some in the Democratic Alliance went to vote with them to gain the 50% plus one, which otherwise they did not deserve to get. So we are noting that the DA has participated in establishing or re-establishing a corrupt government here in the city of Johannesburg, and we are going to continue as opposition and expose the corruption that the ANC will obviously be engaged in. So that is basically our stance in terms of the recent outcomes. Basically, that is our position.
so, Mr. Shivambu, at this point in time, South Africans and the city of Johannesburg residents can say that the EFF accepts the outcomes of this particular council sitting.
We note the outcome of this process, and what makes us happy about our councillors. We've got 30 councillors here in the city of Johannesburg, and all of them voted for the candidate mayor of the Economic Freedom Fighters. So the EFF didn't sell out, did not participate in establishing a corrupt government. So we note the outcome of this particular process, and we will continue to engage. We will see when we then pass budgets and deal with other issues in terms of who are these people who had voted for Geoff Makhubo, because when you vote for a budget and deal with other motions, it is no longer a secret ballot. You must reveal your face in terms of which budget are you voting for, and whether you are voting for a budget of the ANC, which has been very compromised here in the city of Johannesburg. So we'll get to know later on what could have happened. So we note the outcome of this process, and We'll continue to play our role as a robust opposition that engages, that comes with concrete alternatives and solutions in terms of what should happen to the people of Johannesburg. We have played our part. There's nothing else that we can do. We contested for elections. We did not establish or re-establish an ANC government.
So you won't be challenging, I'm so sorry, you won't be challenging this process. Basically, they've won fair and square.
Look, our issue was that whoever is elected a mayor should be elected by 50% plus one. We were going to challenge it if whoever is elected a mayor was not elected by 50% plus one. So most definitely, we're not going to challenge that in a court process because it will be irrational to challenge that because 50% plus one was established through whatever arrangement was made with the other political parties and the secret voters.
Will you be voting with the ANC in the budgets that they propose, particularly the next year's budget for the city?
We are going to deal with those issues when the time arrives in terms of how do we deal with budgeting. But one thing for sure is that we're not going to form part of political organizations that will just hand over the purse of the city to Geoff Makhubo. We know his credentials, we know his track record, that he is not to be trusted with the resources of the city. We are not going to support the government of Geoff Makhubo because he is not trustworthy. That is why we told the ANC representatives when we engaged with them that it can be anyone else, not Geoff Makhubo, who was working with Regiment's Capital, which is part of the Gupta criminal syndicate in terms of siphoning off the money from the city. The sinking fund was being looted, and he personally and his company benefited not less than 30 million rands out of those activities. And these are things that are confirmed by the ANC government here in the city of Johannesburg when they were still in office, that he was indeed involved in those issues. So we cannot really be associated with Geoff Makhubo.
So where did it go wrong with your negotiations with the ANC?
The breaking point between our discussion with the ANC was on Geoff Makhubo. We said that we will never vote for Geoff Makhubo. We did not have a problem with having a mayor who's going to be presiding over the city for the next 18 months until the next local government elections in 2021. But we said that it cannot be Geoff Makhubo because he is extremely compromised. He is not a suitable candidate to could lead the city. He is extremely conflicted and is not a suitable candidate for the governance of the city. That was the breaking point in terms of the discussions that we've had here.
Mr. Shivambu, some may say that that is rich coming from you, since you yourself are alleged to be embroiled in issues of corruption when it comes to Skameka projects and the issues of VBS, saying that you may be too rich and not the one to speak about ethics when it comes to those issues, since you are also embroiled in issues of looting at VBS.
We are not involved in any looting of any state resources anywhere, and we are not contesting to be mayors of the city of Johannesburg. We have never done any business with any of the cities that we participate in terms of government. So there is no confusion about that, and our conscience is very clear. We're not confused about where we stand in terms of all these issues. And of course, there are a lot of media puppies that are always barking in terms of what could have happened. But we know that there is nothing wrong that we have ever done. As the leadership of the economic freedom fighters, we're not even conflicted about that.
In council, moving forward, how will EFF councils ensure that they keep the ANC on their toes?
We will continue to be robust. You would know that the EFF caucuses all across South Africa are the best caucuses in terms of holding executives accountable. So the leadership of the EFF here in the city of Johannesburg is going to continue to hold the established executive accountable. So we'll make sure that each and every cent that the city has at its disposal is accounted for. There won't be shortcut procedures to appoint contractors and whoever is going to be appointed. And there won't be some random firing of leadership in the administration because people want to loot the resources of this city. So it's one of the things that we're going to be doing, like we do in Parliament, like we do in the provincial legislatures, like we do in all councils. We're going to hold the executive here accountable in a very robust and clear way. We will consistently inform the people of Johannesburg that we are guarding your resources because a person who is compromised is now presiding as a mayor.
Mr. Bambo, I mean, you were saying you can't work with Mr. Makhubo. And the AFF has been maintaining the principle of saying you don't want to be in coalitions and you vote on an issue by issue basis. So if they present the budget and other issues in council and you agree in terms of the content of what they are presenting, are you going to disagree with them on the basis of you not wanting to work with the ANC-led government, or you are going to agree if it's progressive?
No, you know, the basis of rejecting a budget sometimes is not just the contents of the budget. Sometimes is based on who is going to administer the implementation of such a budget. So we are not going to vote for a budget that is going to be expended by Geoff Makhubo because we do not trust him. We do that in many instances when we reject budgets in Parliament. We always say that we do not trust you. We think this is a progressive issue to deal with, but we do not trust you with the resources of the state. So that will be the basis of our rejection of the misgovernance that has just been re-established of Geoff Makhubo here in Johannesburg.
Okay. Thank you so much, Floyd. We're joined by Mike Moriarty of the DA, who will give us his reaction.
Well, Shahan, Mike Moriarty, the provincial chairperson of the Democratic Alliance, is coming to give feedback on this council sitting. Mr. Moriarty, how are you feeling, sir?
Well, I'm not feeling particularly good. I feel very disappointed that there are councillors that saw fit to vote in somebody who is thoroughly compromised with allegations of corruption. You all know about the 30 million rand contract that he profited from the city of Johannesburg. It's the residents of Johannesburg's money that went there. And
all right, of course, that is the DA's Mike Moriarty speaking to Samkela Maseko about his concerns regarding Geoff Makhubo being voted in Johannesburg mayor. There's several controversies around him. He's accused of dodgy dealings and benefiting from city contracts while working for the city. We'll try to re-establish that connection.